This is your Barbados Today morning news update for Thursday, December the 27th. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news at this hour, the leadership of the Barbados Union of Teachers has pledged to demand improvements to the physical conditions under which its members work at the turn of the new year. BUT President Sean Spencer says priority will also be placed on ensuring security of tenure for teachers not appointed but have received their instruments, along with those who have gotten their confirmation letters. He told Barbados Today that violence in schools would continue to top the agenda.
That matter is a matter which we have always spoken out against, because we do believe that it is a reflection of society, and as it stands today, as a social institution, that being the schools, we will continue to play a role in trying to ensure that the public is not going to have to deal with those circumstances, because we try to impress upon our students that there is a need for them to be more respectful and well-rounded citizens in terms of observing the authority figures and the laws of the land.
Some residents of St. Joseph and St. Peter continued to cry out yesterday for relief from the water shortages plaguing their districts. Karen Wood of Mount Breveter, St. Peter, complained that she was forced to bathe from a bottle of water stored in order to go to work.
I mean, don't mind if you pressure low, not for morning, and they be telling you that like go off, and you just wake up. The other morning we wake up to the off too. Some morning last weekend it was off too. Like it went off during the night. Weekend it was off. That was Friday, Saturday morning, right, Chris?
Saturday morning.
Nah, yeah. It went off during the night. Saturday morning we had any, and it come back on till Sunday morning.
Several other residents in the two parishes expressed frustration at the uncertainty of the water supply that has placed them in a difficult position in planning their lives. In fact, a man from Lamings, St. Joseph, who did not want to be identified, said the outages are a daily occurrence.
You pay so much more for water, you know, because you can't get no water. Every day put the golf out here, every day.
It appears that Barbadians at home and abroad will flood to Kensington Oval on April the 27th to see and hear Jamaican dancehall star Buju Banton perform. Local promoter Aljit says with still about 4 months to go, hundreds of tickets have already been bought by people in Barbados and the diaspora across the US and Europe. Just told Barbados Today that Buju, who recently returned to his native Jamaica after an early release from a 10-year sentence in a US prison on cocaine charges, seems set to pull off a monster show here.
We put the tickets on sale online to the box office, and they started disappearing like as the traditional hot cakes. The first day we sold over 300 tickets, which was unbelievable, despite the fact that we knew the appeal that Buju has now, right? It was something unprecedented. That January, February, March, April, 4 months plus before a show, right? And the first day, just online, you could sell over 300 tickets. So then we decided to open the box offices locally, and same thing happened. People just responded, and it looks like based on this preliminary response and urge to get tickets, that we have a monster show in our hands.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
Welcome back with news from the region now. Antigua and Barbados will end the year 2018 as the fastest growing economy in the Caribbean. That's according to the latest report from the Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, ECLAC. We pick up the story in this report from ABS Radio TV News.
The United Nations body says Antigua and Barbuda is expected to end 2018 with growth in real gross domestic product of 5.3%. This level of economic expansion also puts the Twin Islands state second only to the Dominican Republic within the entire Latin America and Caribbean region. The economy of the Dominican Republic is estimated to have grown by 6.3% in 2018. Meantime, ECLAC is projecting growth of 4.7% for Antigua and Barbuda in 2019. However, it says growth for Latin America and the Caribbean will be affected by global economic uncertainties.
In Venezuela, that country's President Nicolas Maduro raised eyebrows when he installed a National Guards General to lead the rescue of the nation's troubled state-owned oil company. His appointment comes at a time when oil output has plummeted in a country which was once credited as being one of the leading oil producers in the world.
Now, Manuel Quevedo, a career military officer with no past experience in the oil industry, is raising even more doubts about his ability to revive PDVSA after appointing other military officials to top posts there. Once one of the leading oil producers in the world, PDVSA has seen oil production levels plummet more than 20% since Quevedo took over. And according to people within PDVSA, Quevedo has overseen an exodus of workers.
And on the global front, President Donald Trump made a surprise Christmas visit to U.S. troops in Iraq on Wednesday, his first trip to a conflict zone nearly 2 years into his presidency and days after announcing a pullout of American troops from neighboring Syria.
We came to Al-Assad to share our eternal gratitude for everything you do to keep America safe, strong, and free.
The surprise trip came days after the president announced a pullout of American troops from Syria, a drawdown of soldiers from Afghanistan, and the departure of Defense Secretary James Mattis.
Thank you, fellas.
In Iraq, about 5,200 U.S. troops are training and advising local forces who are still fighting Islamic State, whose territory Trump described as nearly eliminated.
2 years ago, when I became president, they were a very dominant group. They were very dominant. Today, they're not so dominant anymore.
His critics, however, have said that the fight is far from over and the withdrawal leaves allies in the lurch.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We are also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Now, you can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.